So what was your previous life before being known as my local coffee guy on Saturday mornings? You know, like for a lot of people actually, is, you know, where is it going? Like, who are we talking to? What's the intended purpose? What's the goal? What part of the marketing funnel or marketing cycle is this a part of? There's all these different kinds of videos and different platforms. Because that's not everyone's issue. I just know that was always my problem growing the agency, was like there's been projects recently where like the money's just not there. Can't help you. You know, like I really want to.
Well, that's
you're a good person.
You're able to say no.
You're a good person. Like somebody today was telling me like, hey, you know, you sent me your costs and you've made me realize like I don't need someone like you yet. It's okay. Well, let me help you get there.
Yeah.
I'll give you some free. Here's my YouTube channel. Here's my Instagram. Here's, you know, templates and stuff that you can use on your own. And let's get you to a point where then, you know, I can actually help you.
That's awesome that you have those free resources too.
Like the YouTube video. I mean, there's like one video, for example, that's here's a list of all the different kinds of videos that you as a realtor can be making in 2024. Like everyone and their mother does like listing videos and this and that, but it's like if you want to stand out, there's all these different kinds of videos and different platforms. And so it's giving away those kind of resources where it gets them to think so outside of the box and being like, oh, I can stand out now. Then it becomes a matter of, okay, like what can I do by myself and what do I need to hire out for?
How did you decide you were going to niche into real estate stuff?
Complete accident.
Really?
Complete accident.
Okay.
I didn't want to, because I was trying not to niche down, because I was like, I don't want to be known as like that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like coffee's a cool thing, you know, you can be like the coffee guy. But then, you know, it's like, I'll take it as a page from you. Like you've become known as like the Coppell Farmers Market coffee guy.
Yeah.
That's a great thing to be known for. I think it's awesome.
I like it,
And I bet there was like, and I'm not going to speak for you, but was there ever a thing where it's like, well, like it's not like Dallas Farmers Market. Like it's like it's such a small niche to go down to that you're like, I don't know if I want to just like go all in on that, you know?
Yeah, and Coppell's interesting too, because I wasn't sure I was going to make enough money to keep at it every weekend. You know, I mean, the process is roast on Mondays, bag on Tuesdays, be there on Saturdays, and I do the cold brew in between there too. But it's like I wasn't sure if I was going to make enough revenue to make it sustainable.
Wow.
It was one of those things.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about Coppell is like it's been sustainable. I mean, I'm not getting rich off of it by any means,
but you've been going every Saturday, so like you haven't, you're still there.
Like, it's enough to make my wife be like, oh, okay, you're actually
this is
making
good.
money. This is cool. You can keep doing it. Yeah.
Real estate was you know, you sound a lot less like prideful than me. So for me, for real estate, I don't want to be known as like the realtor guy. I want to be known as like a video expert. Like I'm saying, you're humble because you went to Coppell and you're like, I'm doing this, and it's kicked ass. It's done well. No, for me with real estate, I was like, I don't want to do this. Like then I'm going to be known as like I only work with realtors.
Yeah.
But then when I started seeing the value that I was providing, and I was getting the text messages of like, you know, you got me out of my shell. You made me more comfortable, and because of that, I got a listing. So now I just made thousands of dollars because of you. Like you grew my business. That's when like that pride thing went away. Yeah, and I was like, I did a whole few months of a lot of research before I went all in, where like I identified like my perfect realtor that I'm gonna find on social media.
Oh, nice.
Like my consumer target, my profile. Like I did all of my numbers. I did like, and so for me this year, for example, my goal is to talk to 3,000 realtors.
Okay.
I talked to 3,000 realtors who fit this demographic. There's 60,000 in DFW.
Okay.
Most of them suck. That's just the reality. That's just the reality. And I don't say they suck. I say like, I should take that back. They don't suck. They're just not active.
Yeah.
And like, and they get dejected, and then like they don't try hard, and then 5 years goes by, and then they lose their license. So there's a lot of those. Oh, man. And so there's not a lot of the high performers. It's about 3,000 that we can say like these are the ones who actually make.
It's a small percent.
It's a small percent. Yep. So out of those 3,000, I only need to work with 50 of those 3,000. So if I talk to 3,000 of them, I'm going to book 100 phone calls, 1 out of every 30, right? And then out of those, my closing rate's 50%, let's say, so that's 50 clients.
Yeah.
And the annual revenue that I'll get from them is X amount, so that times 50, it's pretty good business.
Man, I'm really impressed. You do a lot more back-end work. Like you're good on camera, but then there is a strategy behind it too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, then that's the benefit of being the drama major and being on film and TV and doing commercials and all that stuff. That's the front of camera stuff. But then what I notice, and you probably know this a lot too with marketing, is marketers, no matter what field, is content, data, analytics, this, that, the other thing, advertising, we're either very creative and not analytical at all, or we're super analytical but have zero creative bone. And I feel like the ones who are going to be in this for a long time have both.
Do you consider yourself one of those?
I was a very creative.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't. Yeah, for the first 5 years of owning this business, I was creative 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, like this video is gonna look cool. This video is gonna be great. It's gonna look so good on that. But like, is it actually gonna convert? Is it actually gonna do its intended purpose? I didn't ask those questions. I was like, they need a cool video. I'm gonna make a cool video. You know.
Yeah.
Length and platform and distribution. I never cared about any of that.
Yeah.
So I had to marry the data and the analytics and let those things fuel the decisions, the creative decisions.
Yeah.
You know, we're targeting a 35-year-old female, married, 2 kids, lives here, does this, morning routine, this, that.
Really
her content that and the topics that she's going to want to hear about, and the platforms that content's going to be on is going to be so different than any other, persona.
Yeah.
And so you're making content for that person, right?
Super smart, man.
Yeah. And so the creative bone was always like just all I cared about. And then, revenue wasn't following along, so I was like, something's got to change.
So but you had to teach yourself a lot.
Yeah.
Man,
oh yeah.
So you had to put in all that back end work. To make this stuff work.
And so now it's like a very simplified process of just let's reverse engineer. Here's the questions we're going to ask on onboards. Here's the questions we're going to ask during that first month. Here's, when we're producing content, these are like the steps that we're going to take before we even turn on a camera. Is, where is it going? Like, who are we talking to? What's the intended purpose? What's the goal? What part of the marketing funnel or marketing cycle is this a part of? So we ask all those questions now. And like, I never asked those questions. Like, I didn't even know what those things were.
That's really cool too, because you've gotten to that point where you can really think about what you said. The key thing is like systems and stuff. Because when you're first starting out, it's just like hustle.
Oh yeah, it's sell and deliver, sell, deliver, sell, deliver. That's it. Sell and service.
But it's funny, once you get the flywheel going, then that's one of the things I'm lucky about now is I feel like just staying in the game long enough and getting a flywheel down helps a lot.
For sure.
I mean, we were talking, if you don't mind me saying, we were talking about Coppell and how and I'm like the Coppell coffee guy, but it took a few years just showing up every weekend to be that.
Oh, so you're saying it wasn't an overnight success where you showed up the first time and then you got lucky and then boom, like you're a star now, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was, it's just been gradual, but I'm finally at a point where I feel good about it. Like, I feel like I've got a system and a process, like you were talking about, which is...
Those systems and processes, something that really impressed me already was, where you said, on Mondays I do this, on Tuesdays I do this, and then on Saturdays, we show up and there's all these steps in that process now that, did you like document it at first? Did you test it out? Was it trial and error? Have you memorized it? Like, how did you come up with a system that works for you to be present every Saturday and, stay busy?
A lot of it's actually, I mean, it's simple, but it started with the coffee. I like to rest the coffee enough so that when the person gets it, it's ready to go. So like with coffee, you're roasting it on Monday, so it's super hot. You have to let that carbon dioxide continue to kind of expel from the beans. And so I figured, okay, if I do that on Monday, then by Saturday, somebody could buy it and then enjoy it on Sunday, and it'll taste pretty good. Not that it won't taste good Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever, but it's kind of best after a week. And that's what a lot of people say, and I've kind of noticed that too. So that's what kind of dictated the original process, and I built my schedule around it. So that's like, I mean, it just comes down to when you're so busy, and I have 2 other businesses too. Wow. That's when it really started coming in, is I've got to kind of have a process, because if I don't do the same things, I'm like mentally taxing myself more than I need to. So yeah, that's where it kind of started.
Were you like always a coffee aficionado? Was this kind of like a daydream thing that just turned into a hobby that then turned into like now we're making money? Like
That's exactly what happened.
Really?
Yeah, it was definitely a daydream thing. So my first job was in a coffee shop in Shreveport, Louisiana. That's where I'm from.
Yep.
And so I was 16. I barely got the job. I had never really drank coffee in my life before that, but it was like the cool place that everybody wanted to hang out at. And so I just happened to go in there and talk with the owner, and she gave me a job. She was like, hey, can you come back next week? It turned out I was the only guy. She had all-girl staff, and she never hired a guy. And so she was like, we kind of need somebody to lift stuff and move stuff.
Oh, yeah. Breaking barriers in Shreveport, dang.
Yeah. So she was just like, okay, come back next week. You can start. And then I realized I ended up loving it. Like, I just loved the coffee and service atmosphere. Like, I liked being the coffee guy there. Like, I liked showing up. I liked getting up early. I liked making people happy and getting better at the craft. Yeah, so I went away from it for a while. I went to college, I went to LSU. I didn't have any money to drink good coffee, so I didn't drink good coffee for a long time. And then I finally moved here to Dallas, and it was actually Cultivar in Dallas. They're a big roaster. Yep. They were one of the first guys, I think, that was really doing specialty here. And I had started drinking some of their coffee, and I was like, okay, this is fantastic. This is awesome. And then it turned out my best friend from Shreveport he got into roasting. This was about 5 years ago. And he was mailing it to me like every couple of weeks or so. He would roast something and send me the leftovers. And I was just blown away at the quality of it. And so that's when I really got into it. And then I was like, okay, I can build a roaster for like $2,000. So that's when it started being like, all right, I've got to figure out a way to pay off that $2,000 I invested in this roaster. So I built it, and then luckily I did get into the Coppell Farmers Market. Like I applied, they were like, "Sure, come on down."
They didn't have a coffee cart, right?
Guy. Yeah. So they were like, "Come on in." And
when was that? When was that?
That was 2021.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess 21. It was after the pandemic, but like still kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a bit of a pandemic hobby thing.
Yeah.
It was like,
Well, yeah, you had time,
yeah,
so.
I was going to do it. But I mean, the main thing to answer your question was I always wanted to do something with coffee. Thinking about those memories and the way I was speaking about the first job in Shreveport, I just always thought in the back of my head, like before 35, I'm going to do something, and I know I love coffee. I'm just going to marry the two.
Wow.
And that's how it all got started. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so, what was your I guess your previous life before being known as my local coffee guy on Saturday mornings, like for a lot of people actually.
Oh man, so I went down to LSU. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I knew I was pretty good at public speaking and communication, stuff like that. So I got a public relations degree, and I graduated during the Great Recession, so it was like really hard to find a job.
Wow.
I ended up working for the Federal Bankruptcy Court for 2 years, and I knew I didn't want to do that.
Wow.
Yeah, like during the
recession,
08, yeah. I'm
in
reading bankruptcy papers.
That's got to be very depressing.
Yeah, it was
just like as a young kid, like stars, and you got big dreams, and you're reading all these bankruptcy cases.
Yeah, it was the worst. And it's so funny too. It was like GM filed bankruptcy and all that stuff. So it was like you got to look through all the GM papers, which was kind of interesting.
That would be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and I only say that to say so. I knew I didn't want to work at the bankruptcy court anymore. I got in touch with one of my parents' friends, and she worked for GM as a public relations person. And I called her up, and I was like, "I'll do anything. I'll sweep the floors. I don't care. Like, can I come work for you?" And she was like, "Well, we don't have any jobs, but the agency that I'm working with does." And so Fleischman Hillard, a PR agency here, they had an internship program, and I went and was an intern for a while, and that got me into my advertising career. So that's what I was doing before I got way into coffee. I was doing advertising for agencies, and then I went corporate and I worked for Chili's. So I ran Chili's.com.
Did you? Wow.
Yeah,
cool.
So I did that during the pandemic.
Yeah.
I was on the Chili's.com team. And then I did a few other things with digital marketing, and actually I worked in IT for a little bit too, doing like the back end side of things, which was fun.
Wow.
And then I realized I just one day I was like, I've saved up enough money. Always wanted to do this thing with the coffee.
This is the time to do it, right?
My wife was super cool about it. She has a great job at Toyota, so she was like, try it out. You can always go back to work.
Yeah.
Do the thing. And I keep following these trends, but it was the trend where everybody was quitting their job and kind of doing this.
They were becoming brewers and coffee guys, right?
Exactly.
Like everyone started
I hate to say I followed the trend, but I just jumped.
Yeah, but you stuck with it.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
the thing. A lot of those people most of those people have probably gone back to their life, and
so
you kept going.
Yeah, and I mean it's been great ever since. Like every month really, it's been month over month growth.
Wow.
For the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah, when did you get started doing this? All the interviews, I did like 6 interviews. All of them were fantastic. I had 2 angles. Everything was going really good.
Yeah.
And then this one guy, he grabbed the chair, and he was like the highest guy up that I was interviewing that day. He grabbed the chair, and he moved closer out of the shot.
So he's like out of focus or out of the shot?
Out of focus.
Oh,
so
gosh,
he was in the shot, but he was, luckily he had gone like this. So he was still in the shot. It was okay.
Yeah.
But out of focus completely.
Oh,
so
man.
Blew the whole.
Yeah.
It ended up being okay, but.
Yeah, that's the worst when you set up a camera like that, and but then that's the problem is like the creative side is like, oh, like we need to have, we have to have the camera like with so much depth so it's nice and blurry behind. It's like they're not gonna care if it's not as depth of field.
That's actually another thing you said in one of your videos was quit caring about making it perfect. Like just get out there and do it, which is so true. Like that's one of those things. It's like the old Facebook saying, like, move fast and break things.
Yeah, yeah.
Done is better than
Done is better.
perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
the better one.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's totally true, man. It's
Yep.
like a lot of people are scared to just get out there and do it.
Yeah, yeah.
As long as you take that first step in
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. No, like, you know, I'm looking through my books because there's one, like Grant Cardone and the 10X mentality. I mean, you know, granted, he's not for everybody because he's a very interesting guy.
Yeah.
But his big thing is better known is always going to be better than better, right? So it's like marketing, like promotion, getting yourself out there. Like that's so much more important than, you know, because you could have spent 5 years perfecting the perfect coffee. You know, 5 years tinkering and laboring and not telling a soul.
Yeah. And
But
I'm
then,
a perfectionist.
yeah, and that's hard. Yeah. Versus, you know, getting it, going to market, selling it, testing it, getting the feedback, tinkering, going back and forth. And now within 2 years, you know, you've built something.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, and I was so lucky to have people in Coppell who were just like, yeah, I'll try this random guy's coffee. Like,
Right,
sure,
yeah.
you know?
I'll be a lab rat and I'll get
I was in there like, I mean, I was printing them. I had like a 4x6 mailing label printer, and I was printing 3 labels on one of those and just cutting it. Like, that's what I started out doing, you know?
That's awesome.
It was just like, get out there in the market, and then, and then build off that, and then build off that, and then build off that. So,
Yeah, because then you eventually build up a marketing team, which is your happy customers.
yes.
And that's how that's how the word gets out. You don't have to worry about like spending ads or this, that. Like you got people.
Yeah,
They'll tell the
That
world.
was the funniest thing about when I was in advertising. It was we were always worrying about all that kind of stuff, you know. And then it ended up always being, as long as you did something kind of cool and people were willing to talk about it. That was always the thing that sold the most. You can't measure it, but it's like that was always our best advertising.
Wow.
Word of mouth.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah, nothing's ever gonna beat that. It seems like.
Yeah.
But no, I'm a recovering actor. So so you know, I've owned the same company now for 12 years. I started in college because I wanted to produce my own stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, my uncle who's a CPA was like, you should open an S corp because that way if life happens, you know. I was like, cool, all right. So I've had it for 12 years now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so you know, it's the same one. I've done theater productions, short films, like little documentaries. You know, we produced a couple shorts for some friends in California, all that kind of stuff, and then transitioned in like 2017 because you know, it's a hard world to make it in. In video, like production, like film production and acting and all that stuff, and you throw in a wife and 2 kids in the mix, it makes it even more difficult. And so you know, you're trying your hardest to string together, you know, a couple $1,000 a month, and doesn't go great. You know, 2016 was a year that was awesome for me because for like 6-7 months I was only acting. It was awesome. So I was either auditioning at a set or getting paid for something pretty much every day, every week. It was awesome. Billboards, commercials, TV, all that kind of stuff. It was amazing. 2017, I made $400 on acting. So it's like, it was probably an accident too. Yeah, no, like I didn't even, but on acting, I made $400 on acting in 2017 after I had made it. Not a living, but I was like in the top. Like if you're gonna break down the stats, I was like in the top 1%. Yeah. You know, and so I got to see it very fast.
Wait, so what happened in that year where you only did 400? Was it just you
auditioning, and not getting cast in anything?
Wow.
I made it to callbacks. I made it to right of first refusal. I made it to the bottom 2, and then never got picked. And I put a lot of stock in auditioning, and so that, you know, it's like, you have to prepare so much for auditions if you want to do well. And so, you know, those are auditions where I'm putting in 4, 6, 8 hours into each audition to prepare it, to memorize, to think about, you know, what I'm trying to do here, you know, being in a zone where like when I walk in, I'm confident. And it just didn't work. It just didn't work out. I wasn't the right look. I wasn't doing anything. But the feedback was always like, you're amazing. You're great. You're just not what we're looking for. And so it gets to you, you know, it affects you.
Does.
And then with 2 kids, and you know, so it was like, all right, well, the only thing I know how to do is to operate a camera and like tell a story. That's like the only talent I had. That was not acting. Like my plan B. So I was like, so I have to make this work.
Yeah.
And that's how it worked out. You know, like I started making little videos for people, and then like I made my junkyard one, I did a nonprofit one, I did, you know, in the Catholic world, we did a couple of Catholic projects here and there. You know, a realtor friend, oh yeah, I'll shoot like a 5-minute video of you talking about a house, not knowing what I was doing, but just like, she's paying me money. It's you know, learning. But that's how I started 7 years ago.
Cool.
So I'm in my 8th year now, and it was a.
Has it grown year over year? Like
the first 4 years were very stagnant.
Okay.
Because like, you know, I didn't have the benefit of like what you had, which was, you know, you studied something practical in school. You know, I studied drama in college.
Yeah.
Like I only knew Shakespeare.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shakespeare's not going to help me open a business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He'll help me like market it well or
Yeah.
pretend like I know what I'm doing. But it was really hard because I had to learn how to run the business well by running it terribly for the first 3 years.
Okay.
You know, and so the first 3-4 years were semi-stagnant, but I mean, it's been almost a doubling of revenue every year for the last 3. And that's been my mentality for the last 3 years is, you know,
awesome.
I want to reach 7 figures. That's the goal. By end of next year, that's where I'm going to be.
Yeah.
And I'm trending there so far. And it's really exciting.
Yeah, did you set a number and you were kind of like, this is what we need? I guess
I set a number and a time. Are you're talking about family? You're talking about?
Well, no, I was just saying like this is what I need to provide
Oh
for
yeah,
my family.
yeah.
You mentioned
It
your
was,
family
yeah, it was, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was exactly that. And so, you know, like when I was starting the business, I'm going to backtrack just a little bit.
Yeah.
In 2014, when I got married, when my wife and I got married, I had just seen a video of George Clooney talking about making it in the business, in the entertainment industry, and it takes you 5 years. Like that's the average. That's why so many people quit, because you're there for 6 months in LA and then it's like, oh, I'm done.
Point we should come back to.
Yeah. So it takes 6 months. Like, you know, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, people quit because it's like it's too much.
Yeah.
And I had always seen that too, because like I did a lot of musicals in San Antonio, where I'm from. I studied drama at in my college, and you would just see people like it was a revolving door. Because people just wouldn't stick with it.
Yeah.
And that was never my issue. Even like I lacked talent, but I had the drive, so I made it work. You know.
Yeah.
And when I listened to this thing,
did you say lack talent?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure you didn't lack talent.
No, I did. If you would have seen me in High School Musical, you would have been like, that dude sucks.
I got you. Yeah.
It's fine. I grew a lot. So, you know, I get to 2014. And I told my wife, you know, I have no idea where this is going to lead. And George Clooney said that, like, you know, after 5 years, like, you know too many people and you're too good at what you do to fail. Because, you can hit the phone and call up 100 people in one day. Or you can, like, you know you're good enough, so just put yourself in the right position, you know, and you'll be fine. It's like a block that gets off you. So I told Amanda, I have no idea where this is going to lead, but I need 5 years to figure it out.
Oh, nice.
Give me 5 years.
Yeah.
If it's after 5 years, I will get a big boy 9 to 5, 40-hour benefits, 2-week vacation, you know, 60,000, 70,000, start there, let's go.
Yeah.
She was like, cool, let's do it. So 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So, you know, we're going. And my goal was always, you know, okay, I need to make $3,000 a month. I need to make $2,000 a month. You know, okay, if I'm not making it all with acting or this or that, like, okay, I'll go drive for Uber. I'll go sell golf balls at golf tournaments.
Yeah.
I'll wash cars for friends and family. Like, I literally did everything to just make that extra money. Some months were great. Some months were terrible.
Yeah.
Some of the great months, we'd go spend it all because we're idiots. You know, the terrible months, we'd still spend money because we're idiots, you know. But that's how it was. And so we get to about the 4 year and 8 month mark. It was February of 2019. And at that point, I had already resigned. Like I was done. I'm done.
You were at the 4 year?
I was at the 4 year and 8 month mark.
Whoa,
where I was done.
4 year, 8 month.
I didn't get to 5. And so, you know, I told myself, you know, I had a lot of people tell me, like, you need to stop, you need to give up, you know.
You did?
Yeah, I mean,
Wow, interesting.
because they love you and they hate seeing you suffer.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not bad. But just, you know, like, what's your plan? Like, what are you actually going to do? Like, when are you going to get a real job, you know, because we want you to succeed. Wasn't out of a bad place. Okay. And I always told them, like, I have to be able to look in the mirror and tell myself that, like, I've done enough.
Yeah.
And I reached that point in February 2019.
Okay.
And so, I told Amanda, like, all right, like, I'm done. Like, I got cool stories. Like, I've been on billboards. I've been in a movie. Like, I got cool stuff to tell. And I have no regrets anymore, you know? And so I told her, all right, it's time to get a big boy job. And so I'm applying to all these places. I can't find anything because, like, I ran a video production company.
Did you have a panic moment? Not to interrupt.
Yeah.
Did you have that panic moment?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
When you were like, oh my God, this is all I've really done.
Yeah, because you're applying to things and you're not getting responses because your resume doesn't look that good because you only have one thing that hasn't done well up to that point, so you can't really show it off. So it's like it's hard. You don't stand out.
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, assistant editing jobs for like a medical device company that pays like $14 an hour, $13 an hour. Like, that's not gonna cut it. When I've had like an $8,000 month, you know what I mean? Like, I've had one of those months where I sold 4 brand videos for $2,000 each.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I know what you're capable of. So then, going to interviews, getting rejected, all this stuff. I finally find a marketing job, and they finally want to hire me. And I'm like, I am so excited. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So I show up to the final interview, not the final interview, but like the orientation, and I come to find out it's selling phone plans for Spectrum at Walmart. Right? And walking up to people and, you know, hey, like, how's it going? You know, who are you with? And I was like, this sucks, but I'm still going to do it.
Oh, okay.
Because, like, I committed, I committed, I'm going to learn something, I'm going to start somewhere. Cause maybe like in 2 years, I could be managing a team of those guys. You know what I mean? So I was like, look at the bright side, you'll be fine. The day before I'm going to start that job, I get a call from a friend, and she's at a consulting firm here in Dallas. She's like, we're doing this huge event. We need videography. How much do you charge?
Yeah.
And I'm like, how much money do I need for the next couple of months to live? Okay, cool. I charged her that.
Yeah.
And they said yes right away. And I was sad because I was like, I could have charged more. You know? So I did it. And I didn't show up to the job. I did the video project, and it bought me life. Because I was like, get to 5 years. It's like, get to the 5th year, right?
Yeah.
So we get to May of 2019, and I get a call from a friend saying, hey, there's this huge project that I've been talking to somebody about. I can't take it on. I don't really know what's going to happen with it, but I told him I thought of you, so here. It's like, cool, awesome. It ends up being this guy from the Northeast who has this idea for like this huge Catholic video series. And I have no idea what this guy wants. But I'm like, why don't we do a sample of 5 videos? We'll film them, we'll shoot them, we'll edit them, and you tell me what you think.
Yeah.
So we did them. We did the 5, charged him, not a ton, but I charged him a good amount. Yeah. Enough where I could get to the 5 years, Long story short, he's convinced that, the quality is going to be there, and green lights the whole project. It's an $120,000 project. Whoa. And in July of 2019, I'm literally I play a lot of golf. Okay. Obviously, there are some weeks I could play a lot, some I couldn't, but, I'm out playing a round of golf, and it's right around that 5-year mark, and I get wired $20,000 to start this project. Yeah. I'm literally at the second hole at Coyote Springs, still remember it, and I get it, and I'm just like, this is amazing. Yeah. And I made it to 5 years.
Yeah, you made it.
Haven't looked back since.
Yeah.
There's been ups and downs for sure. There's been good days and bad days, great months, terrible months. Those things happen. And I just know objectively what to do when those things happen, and to put things in place to make sure that they don't happen again. Nice. Because you have all the confidence in the world now after you hit that point. I mean, you must have had the same thing with you that happened where, you hit a point going out to the Coppell farmer's market for the 10, 20, it could have been the 10, 20, the 100th time, but where you're like, all right, this is going to stick. Yeah. I know it now. No matter what happens, we'll be fine. Yeah,
when I started seeing the same people buying my coffee week after week after week, that's when I was like, oh man, this is definitely
special.
This is cool. I'm doing something right, and I'm getting those signs. It sounds like it's like, man, you just needed that sign, and you just need to keep going, and you got it.
And it was funny though, because I told a friend this. He's a mentor of mine now, and he was like, Alex, why didn't it take you? What you could have done it in 3 years or 2 years? Yeah. It's like, because I heard 5. Yeah. If George Clooney would have said 1, I would have done it in 1. Yeah. But he said 5, so it took me 5.
But he's right. It really does take. It's
about 5 years.
It really is. I mean.
Yeah, you wanted to talk about something with that, right? About the 6 months or stick to itness or something.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people give up, and it's like a cliche, but it's like, man, if you really do stick with something, and you kind of mentioned too, there's certain things you just know. You know when to quit. You'll just kind of get the signs if that's not the way to go. But some stuff, if you just stick with it, most people will give up. But if you just kind of stick with it, you'll get there. Yeah. And the George Clooney thing, maybe it is 5 years.
Yeah, it could be 1, it could be 2, 5, I don't know. But there's a stick-to-itness that is necessary for sure. Because imagine, you go out to your, I'll ask you too, how the experience was, but if you go out to Coppell, to the farmer's market, and you're so excited, and then no one shows up on that first day, why would you stop? Oh, yeah. Go back to the drawing board and be like, all right, what can I do to drum up interest? Do I need to give away free samples? Do I need to, do a whole social media campaign when you're there to tag me on, so many people see that first day. When I've talked at events with realtors, for example, where 30 people show up or 2 people show up. Yeah. I've had a lot of ones where we're expecting 20, 30 people and only 2 show up. So you walk in and you feel awful, but you're like, you still gotta freaking do it.
Did you get
my 2 biggest clients have come from those 2 events?
Yeah, that's awesome.
The 2 biggest clients I have right now.
There was only a couple people? Yeah.
Because they got, I was like, I don't care if you're the only person here. I'm gonna blow you away. Yeah.
And they were. Better
and they were so blown away that they were like, I want to work with you.
Yeah, cool.
So how was it for you for that? Was it a great success, or was it an epic bomb that first
The first day, so I came in with the mentality, it costs $20. Luckily, because it's run by the city, it's super cheap to buy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So it's $20 each time. And so I was like, okay, if I make $20,
if you break even on your first day, I'm happy.
This is awesome. And
that's awesome.
I think I did just about numbers. I think I did 200, which was cool.
Oh man, you must have been so happy.
I was like, okay, this is a thing. Yeah. And I was my wife was like, okay, yeah. And I was I was trying not to get too stoked about it, but I was like, okay, it seems like it's working.
Yeah.
And yeah, then I had I had some seasonality with it. Like
of course.
During the summer it gets so hot.
Yeah.
No
one's gonna drink hot coffee in the summer.
They're really not into coffee during the summer. But yeah, then you get in the fall and it picks up again, and holiday time kind of.
Yeah, winter's great, right? Yeah.
Yeah, winter time is good, and so it kind of goes back to what you said. Like as long as I just kept showing up out there, and it's another thing too. It's like marketing. If you just keep getting the brand out there and people keep seeing it, and I think a lot of thing too is people want to see that you're going to stick with it. They don't want to, like for a vendor at a farmer's market as an example. It's fun to go buy cookies and blah blah blah, but it's like if you see somebody that keeps showing up, it gives you faith in that product.
100%. Like it's so nice to see that recognizable face that knows my name, that says hi. Like I'd rather give you, the money for coffee than a brand new guy that I don't even know who he is. You know what I mean? You build trust, you build loyalty.
Build that trust and loyalty, and they say, okay, this guy is actually worth the money that I'm going to give him.
Yep.
Because he's not just going to take it and okay, I'll go to another market.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm committed to it. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And. Yeah, so coffee. What happens now? Are we staying in Coppell forever? Are we, what do you just kind of go like I'm gonna ride this wave as long as possible? Like what is your vision there for where you're gonna take this thing?
So for Coppell and coffee, Coppell is very interesting because as you can imagine, it's an affluent place, so the rent is really high. And I'm looking I'm roasting in the garage on my custom roaster, so I'm getting to the point where I'm busting out of the garage. So I need to start thinking about how do I get a space where I can dedicate to it and upgrade the roaster and stuff like that. So right now I'm still just kind of focused on sticking with it and accumulating cash and just thinking about how did I get that
building the war chest basically.
Building the war chest right now. But it's cool because like we were talking about, you put in the time and you kind of get an idea of where you need to go just by being in the game long enough.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of just getting to that point now, but I hate to say it, I think it might mean warehousing in like Louisville or outside of Coppell.
Yeah.
Just because the financials just don't.
Yeah.
I mean, man, the rent in Coppell is pretty.
It's high.
and to not make the price of the product have to go up. That's kind of just how you got to play it. But then that opens me up to like I could do e-commerce stuff, which I want to do. Yeah, so there's opportunity. I mean, man, I'm lucky to just get to have the freedom to kind of figure it out too. Yeah. Yeah. So
that's a good place to be.
Yeah, I'm super thankful.
Yeah, because you can make really good decisions, and you like I said, building up that war chest and being able to be playing offense on this.
Yeah.
And not be so defensive. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm looking forward to right now.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. This sounds like a good place to wrap up. So.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Is there anything?
I don't know.
Like if the audience needs a soundbite or something like that, what can we give them? Like, because these are people who are hiring you to do some of their videos, but then they're also getting inspiration to.
Yeah, I mean, from you,
right?
yeah, but also from you, like you're kind of, that's why the angle's on you.
Yeah,
so,
well, I was trying to think, what can I say, or can we have a conversation? Maybe we talk about marketing yourself.
Let's do it. Yeah, absolutely.
So
okay, we'll pick it up there.
That.
Yeah, let's pick it up there for sure.
Well, I guess tell me, how did you start marketing yourself?
I got a whole story about that, and you know what it is? It's because 2 years ago, I was like, I want to drum up some business on Instagram. So I'm going to reach out to all these people, realtors.
Is Instagram your primary?
Yeah, because that's just where a lot of people hang out and live and work and play and spend their time. So it's like, that's where I'm going to go.
Well, and that's super key to identify that.
Yeah.
And maybe I saw it somewhere. I feel like it was you. You were like, it's okay to stay in that channel. Like, please
do. Yeah.
Like, rock the shit out of that channel.
Yeah.
Because don't spread yourself thin trying to be on TikTok and trying to be. I know, for myself, not to jump into it, but I don't think TikTok's really for me.
So this is 2 years ago. And, I was like, I'm going to drum up some business. Like, I want to, see what I can find on social media. Because I had already started making some content for people on social media.
Yeah.
The problem was that nobody knew that that's what I did. They just saw because I did a terrible job of promoting myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I made content for people, but I didn't make content for myself.
Yeah.
Talking about what I did for people. You know what I mean?
Because you're really busy doing it.
Because I'm busy doing their stuff. 100%. Yeah. See, got it. And so, I send like 50 DMs to all these realtors like, hey, here's what I do, and da da da. And it disappointed me. And then I realized like, you're an idiot. Like, they go to your profile and they don't see anything about what you're messaging them about. They don't trust you.
Yeah.
Like they do not trust you.
Yeah, who's this guy?
So I said, I'm going to make it a huge point to personally brand myself as the video guy.
Yeah.
You know, just the video guy, the content creation guy, you know, how to make your videos look better, the mindset stuff, like why we get nervous in front of the camera.
Yeah.
You know, because there's a lot of
stuff you know really
yeah,
well,
because of
too,
the
from
acting
your
stuff, and
previous
that's where a lot of
career.
video production people don't have is
Yes.
what I got there. So like that's what's going to separate me, you know. And so I kind of, you know, for better or worse, you know, went all in on that for about a year and a half, you know, and stumbled, but still got a lot of reps in and a lot of posts and stories. I mean, the first thing I saw when I saw you at your card a couple months ago, you were like, dude, I see you all the time on social media.
Yeah.
And for me, I didn't feel like I was pumping that much, but you clearly I was. And so but I saw that because then in December of this year, January of 2024, so 23-24, I had my team and I, we reached out to about 500 realtors on social, like we DM'd 500 realtors. Because I was like, I'm not gonna let this be a problem again.
Yeah.
And we started booking calls left and right.
Oh, nice.
Because I know they went to my profile,
and
it says there, we help overwhelmed realtors and loan officers with video content.
Yeah.
You know, this and that. You go to stories and it's like, oh, he's doing an event for realtors. Oh, he just spoke at something yesterday. Here's a tip that he did here. You know, his last reel was about this, this, and that.
Yeah.
So it's like they can trust me that I am who I say I am, and I'm good at what I do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so for me, you know, it night and day changed my own business of just practicing what I preach. And that's why I care so much about helping people with video content, because you build trust, you build relationships with people. I've seen it grow businesses, and it does something to your mindset too.
Yeah.
When you create a piece of content that gets out into the world and it affects somebody positively.
Yeah.
Like it just does something to your head.
Oh,
You're just like, this is,
used to keep going.
and it helps you in your marketing, your sales, your branding, your confidence. It helps in so many different places. And you can't really, you know, objectively measure a lot of those things, but the effect is there.
How do you find the time to do, because a lot of us who are business owners we're just like we were talking about. How do you find the time when you're doing this kind of stuff and doing all the business stuff? How do you find the time to do the content creation stuff?
It's a lot of habit building.
Yeah.
A lot of habit building that, you know, takes some time to get figured out. But, you know, in a normal day, I'm posting about 10 stories a day.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And 5 to 10. But I try and get to 10.
I got you.
And I've built a habit of just knowing when to have my phone out. You know, so it's like today we're gonna talk. I'm gonna take a picture with you. I'm also gonna do a story, you know, of panning this room. That's 2 stories right there. Like, I already know I'm gonna do that. But like when we scheduled this thing weeks ago, I already knew. Okay, you're gonna get at least 2 stories and 1 picture, so you can post it later this week. So it's like getting into the habit of knowing. Okay, well, like when I'm in this scenario, you're gonna do this, this, and this, which is gonna yield 3 posts for you.
That's super
in
smart.
that 15 seconds, 30 seconds. It doesn't take much time.
Yeah.
It just what takes a lot of time is you second guessing yourself, doubting, questioning. You do that for 20 minutes when it's like, dude, pull out your phone 3 times for 10 seconds and there's your content right there. And let the audience decide. You know, let the audience decide if it's a waste of their time or not.
Have you seen your clients start picking that up? Like,
Yeah,
once they get the flow? How long does it take them?
It's a month or two.
Yeah.
It's a month or two. You know, and it, you know, like I was telling you recently, like a client that got a solid lead for a listing out of the second video that we posted for her, or that we made for her. And it wasn't even one of the ones that we made for her. It was the one that she made herself that like I talked her into doing. Because I was like, pull out your phone, don't be afraid, say what you want to say. Let them tell you if they like it or not. If you get 100 views, then if it gets 1,000 views, that's going to tell you if it was interesting or not. And sure enough, she got a comment from an old friend being like, I forgot you did real estate.
Oh man.
Let's talk tomorrow. And they got the listing.
That's perfect.
And so there's a lot of confidence that gets built when you figure it out. And like what I try and teach, and you know, I don't want to say like coach or train, but you know, to an extent, is just ways to do it where it's like effective, faster, less taxing on your brain, and it fits a very overwhelmed person's schedule. But I think turning it into a habit like that, and just knowing, okay, like, you know, for example, it could mean, I know I'm talking to another marketing guy, but for you, it could be, okay, like every Saturday when I go to the cart, when I set up my coffee, the shop, like it's a part of your checklist. Like plug it in, turn it on, turn on the light. You know, put the coffee things here. Take a picture. Like you add it as part of that to-do list. And it's a thing that takes 5 seconds, 10 seconds. It's not a thing where it's like it takes hours. You literally just like with a lot of realtors, for example, when they do like a listing or whatever, I tell them like put it in your listing checklist. You know, because they have to like make sure the yard is clean and like the sign is there. Take a picture. You know what I mean? Like squeeze it in there. And then you go to a listing and it's like cool. I got 7 pieces of content off of one listing that I was there for 2 hours.
Yeah,
and that's how you do it.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
man, you said something powerful too, and I know it's something you encourage people to do. That I've followed too is kind of what we were going back to earlier too. Get started now and just start doing it now, because I think both of us have made like you're never going to make the mistakes that you need to make if you don't get started now.
Yeah.
And both of us have made those mistakes early on, which didn't kill our careers in any way.
Right.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
sure, you disappointed someone. It's going to happen. Like
Right.
it just happens.
Yeah.
But if you don't start doing it now, you're never going to get good enough to where you can keep making the money you need to make as a small business owner by getting those mistakes out of the way before and learning from them.
Yeah.
That's been a super huge
There's a guy that I follow a lot on social media who's helped me a ton, Alex Ramosi, and he talks a lot about ignorance tax.
Great. Is he still doing the...
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, nice.
He talks about ignorance tax, and that's probably like the biggest lesson I've learned from him is this idea of like when you're starting a new venture or a new opportunity, or even like if you're starting a new process into your business. For me, automating post-production as much as possible.
Ooh, nice.
You know, like so like automating the communication between editors, contractors, me, and the client, because that saves a lot of time.
Yeah.
And it's been a pain to install because there's a lot of systems and apps and things. But the idea is, you know, it's gonna cost me $2,000 right now, or it's gonna cost me tens of thousands of dollars if I deal with it in 6 months.
That's the truth too.
So pay the ignorance tax the moment that it's available to pay, because it's gonna get more expensive the longer you put it off.
It is.
Because what if, you know, I'm way down there and I have 40 clients and I'm still running them on Excel spreadsheets, and then I piss off 10 of them that are paying me $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
That's $10,000 a month gone because I didn't pay the $2,000 or the $1,000 or the whatever it was to update my systems now when I had the chance.
Yeah.
It's like we don't want to suffer later. We always want to suffer later. We never want to suffer now. But the suffering's going to be a lot less if you just do it now.
Yeah.
And I imagine you too, as a business owner, there's been a lot of those steps where it's like, I'm just going to bite the bullet. Like the profit won't be there next month, but you know, it's better for me to bite that bullet now versus 6 months from now.
Absolutely.
Upgrading something, a payment process, or whatever that is for you. That's been the biggest thing that I've kind of gotten out of him and that I've applied into my business, is seeing when a new process, a new hire, a new, you know, type of deliverable, a new type of client that I've never worked with before is, all right, what's the fastest and the most effective way that I can pay the ignorance tax now, so I don't have to pay it later.
Yeah.
You know,
huge.
that's been a hard one to deal with.
Yeah. Cool, man.
Yeah, but yeah.
I feel like that was pretty good.
I feel like we got a lot.
Got enough.
This was good.
Okay, good.
This was awesome.
Dude.
I feel like I was on your show on this one more than anything. This is
I'm
great.
interested in what you do, and I was man, yeah. Well,
This is great.
if we have to do it again.
Yeah, we'll do a part 2. Yeah,
That'd
we'll
be
do a
cool.
little update. That'd be awesome. But yeah, I appreciate your time.
Thanks for your
Yeah,
time,
no,
man.
this is awesome, and it's just always been great. Like I know for me, it was so heartwarming when I walked up to your cart one time. You're just like, dude, like how's it going? I see you all the time on social.
Yeah.
Like it just proves how effective personal brand marketing on both our parts.
Yeah.
How powerful that can be.
Yeah.
When you walk up to somebody and you haven't seen them in a month or two, but like they know everything about you. Like they've kept up with your life, and it builds relationships, you know, way more effectively in my opinion than anything else. Just being, you know, putting yourself out there, whether it's physically or digitally, you know, and in a farmer's market or online, and keep building those relationships. So yeah, I appreciate it.
And this is not to keep going
Yeah,
too much. But
yeah,
I
we'll
was
go a
gonna
little
say,
more.
Like, one of the things I've been struggling with, kind of related to that, is letting my personal brand. Maybe this is helpful for realtors too.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
A lot of it is your personal brand, and I was really worried. I know it's stupid. I named it Runyon Coffee. It's literally named after me, but I didn't want to be like, oh, I'm the face of the brand. I'm the coffee.
Yeah,
guy,
yeah.
kind of like what we were saying earlier. But leaning into it has actually been better for me. Like lately, I've been posting more photos of myself.
Yeah,
in
like
front of the cart.
yeah, exactly.
And it's like people like that. They're invested in me.
Right.
And it's not a like self-centered thing, but it's like they want to support you. They like
Right.
people like you. And so it's like if you're getting out there and you're making videos and you're making them smile and they love that stuff, they're invested in you, and it's okay to lean into that.
100%. And that's the problem that like a lot of people have too is, you know, oh, like do I market the business or do I market myself? Like, you know, I mean, what's easier, you know, to market your little real estate house logo or your actual face?
Yes.
And what are people going to remember the most?
Yeah. Well, and if you're a realtor, they want that relationship.
Yeah.
It's a relationship thing too.
Yeah.
So like
they want to see personality. They want to see you shine. They want to see who you are. And they want to know if they can trust you or not.
Yeah.
It's the biggest purchase of their lives that they're probably going to make.
Yeah. That's
so
a big one.
yeah, you gotta build that trust, and videos and easy, and photography too. Obviously, I mean, and as you've seen, you post more pictures of yourself with the cart. It's gonna do.
Oh, that's my
it's gonna do better.
post.
Yeah.
Which is, it's like I feel so self-centered.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
me. It's less about the coffee and it's about me, but it's like people get invested in the person they're working with.
Right.
It's okay to lean into that.
Yep. Yeah, I think so too. I think it's necessary. I mean, you become your business. You know, you are your business.
Yeah.
You know, same thing with me. I mean, nobody knows AMT Media, but people know my name.
Yeah.
Same thing with you.
I was gonna say I've never.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah, you didn't even know what the name of my
AMT.
company was.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I've always
So.
known Alex.
Yeah. Exactly. That's how it should work. I think.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome,
Yeah.
man.
Thank you.